Finally, Czech self-propelled Howitzer, Dana, is already destroying Russian occupiers in Ukraine. And on this occasion, I suggest you get acquainted with this deadly weapon, which will speed up the victory of Ukraine in the war for its freedom. The Dana is a wheeled self-propelled artillery piece. It is also known as the self-propelled gun howitzer Model 77 and was designed by Konštrukta Trenčín and built by ZTS Dubnica nad Váhom in the former Czechoslovakia, now Slovakia. Introduced in the 1970s, it was the first wheeled 152mm self-propelled artillery gun to enter service. It is based on a modified 8x8 Tatra 815 chassis with excellent cross-country mobility. Currently it is in service with the Czech Republic, Libya, Poland, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Slovakia and Ukraine. Compared to tracked vehicles, wheeled vehicles have the advantage of being cheaper to build and easier to maintain with greater mobility. Tire pressure can be regulated to allow good mobility off-road, and there is power-assisted steering on the front four wheels. It lowers 3 hydraulic stabilizers into the ground prior to firing, and has a roof-mounted crane to assist with ammunition loading. The crew of the Dana consists of the driver, operates the hydraulic stabilizers, and commander sitting in the front cabin. The gunner aims the gun and opens fire, and loader operator selects the appropriate amount of powder charges, are on the left side of the turret. The ammo handler sets the shells. Primers is on the right side turret. The Dana was designed in the late 1970s by Konštrukta Trenčín to provide the Czechoslovak People's Army with an indigenous self-propelled indirect fire support weapon without having to resort to purchasing the Soviet Tu-S3 Akatsiya SPG. Design work was completed in 1976 and the Dana project was handed off to production at ZTS Dubnica nad Váhom. It was accepted into service in 1981, and by 1994 over 750 units had been built. The Dana was also exported to Poland and Libya. The Dana was a significant departure from contemporary self-propelled guns as it used a wheeled chassis and featured an innovative automated loading system which was the first of its kind at the time of its introduction to service. The vehicle has a driving cabin at the front, an open-topped fighting compartment at mid-length and the engine compartment in the rear. The front crew cabin seats both the driver, mechanic and vehicle commander. The armored turret is installed on a traversable mount adapted to the Tatra 815 wheeled chassis, 8x8, and is divided into 2 halves, divided by the howitzer's recoil mechanism and a pathway for the reciprocating action during firing. The left half of the turret is occupied by the gunner and first loader and houses the various fire control optics, electromechanical gun-laying controls, the automatic propellant charge feeding device as well as an auxiliary ammunition magazine. The right side of the turret contains a mechanized projectile delivery system which is operated by a second loader at this position. The Dana's primary weapon is a 152mm howitzer with a monolithic barrel, with a fixed rifling pitch, equipped with a single expansion chamber. The howitzer has a semi-automatic, vertically sliding wedge-type breech which opens to the left side. The recoil assembly consists of a hydraulic buffer, 2 pneumatic return cylinders and a controlling plunger which governs the displacement of the buffering system. The gun laying is carried out by an electro-hydraulic drive system or an emergency manual control. Dana's unique feature is that its autoloader is able to load a shell and a cartridge in any elevation of the barrel. As there is no gyroscopic or similar system for independent, automated and autonomous gun laying in the Dana, the gunner of howitzer uses a ZZ-73 panoramic telescope with a PG-1MD collimator for indirect gun laying. This sight has a horizontal scale used to set the appropriate horizontal laying via aiming at reference points. This means that the Dana is not an autonomous system. There needs to be an additional device to assist in gun laying. In fact, the firing positions of such artillery systems are usually prepared before the guns are positioned there. For direct fire engagements, the gunner uses an Opus 5-38D telescopic sight. As of 2014, there are 3 main shell types used by Czech Army. 152 EOF, which means high explosive, with a maximum range of 18 kilometers, 11 miles. 152 EOFD, which means high explosive long range, with a maximum range of 20 kilometers, 12 miles. 152 EPRSV, which means high explosive anti-tank used for direct fire at armored targets. Well, in conclusion, let's talk about the general characteristics of this deadly howitzer. Length: 10.5 meters, 34 feet. Width: 2.8 meters, 9 feet. Height: 2.6 meters, 8.53 feet. Weight: 23,000 kilograms, 50,706 pounds. Performance: maximum road speed, 80 kilometers per hour, 50 miles per hour. Range: 600 kilometers, 373 miles. Rate of fire: 3 revolutions per minute for 30 minutes. Maximum gun range: 28 kilometers, 17 miles. Fording: 1.4 meters, 4.59 feet. Vertical obstacle: 1.5 meters, 5 feet. Trench: 1.4 meters, 4.59 feet. Crew: 4 to 5. Armament: primary, 152 mm gun howitzer, length, 5,580 mm, 37 calibers. Secondary, 12.7 mm MG DSKM. Elevation, -4 degrees to +70 degrees. Traverse, plus or minus 45 degrees. Power plant, 1 V12 air-cooled diesel Tatra T2, 939-34 engine delivering 345 horsepower, 257.27 kilowatts. As you can see, yes, Dana is not the most powerful self-propelled howitzer today, and she is still very far from her American counterparts, but in order for the Ukrainians to defend their home, it fits perfectly, and for the time being, until the Ukrainians receive weapons from the USA under Lend-Lease, I think this weapon is a good alternative. Subscribe to the channel, like the video for more interesting military reviews are waiting for you.